Great, thanks. Well, our project sits at the intersection between archaeology, urban regeneration and digital technologies. What we've been doing is exploring the capacity of immersive technologies to inform urban regeneration strategies by harnessing the power of cultural heritage and facilitating effective community advocacy. Now, our focus so far has been on the Castlegate district of Sheffield city centre, the location of the medieval castle. Now, you might think a regeneration project based around a medieval castle would be a really easy win, but you don't know Sheffield's medieval castle. It was not down in the 17th century. It was the location of the market halls for many decades. They were knocked down 5 years ago, and the site is now derelict, and there is a kind of lack of funding and lack of ideas, really, but a great deal of community involvement with the council, community heritage groups, local businesses advocating for the kinds of regeneration projects that they wanted. And the Friends of Sheffield Castle, who are incredibly knowledgeable about the site, have been working with the School of Architecture at the University of Sheffield to generate ideas based on their knowledge of the heritage and the archaeology of the site. Now, the archaeology has been long regarded as an impediment because it was excavated in the 20s, 30s and 50s but never written up, and I've been working on writing this up in a traditional manner. But we've been using this with the Friends of Sheffield Castle as the basis for generating ideas about what the site might look like. And so where we came in with the Immersive Experience project was to begin to develop a mobile phone app, a smartphone app, which would be capable of being used in situ, down on site, to show models both of the medieval castle and also of future regeneration ideas based around the knowledge of that castle. But to do that, the first thing we had to do was to build the model. So I'll hand over to Nick now, our Creative Industries Sector Partner.
Hi there. So as you saw from the previous slide, there's not actually a lot left of Sheffield Castle. And one thing we found is 52% of people in Sheffield actually weren't aware that Sheffield ever had a castle. So that was a big part of our project, was to sort of let people know about that. So in the past, my team at Human, we've recreated concrete underpasses in Sheffield, former history, but we had actual blueprints from the council. Obviously, Sheffield City Council didn't have a blueprint for this. We don't have any photographs, obviously. There's a painting that was disputed. Not even any sketches, really, before Cromwell had it knocked down. So what we were working with was a written inventory that explained pretty much every room in the castle. We worked with Dawn and her team of archaeologists, and they kind of pointed us to some other places. So you can look here. It was kind of almost a forensic approach, where we started looking at other buildings, things around the same sort of time, and features, and gradually we start to piece this together. This is the final model. I'd encourage you, if you have time, to come and look. We're in the black box, and we have. What I like about this is we've created this now. I kind of see this as an asset for the city, really. We've created this, and we've already displayed it, but we've got various outcomes. So we have an AR model which you can come and see in the black box. We have it on a screen as a fly-through. We also have posters. We also have a very nice fly-through on an Oculus Go, which you can come and experience. So I think for us this was a big lesson in kind of doing it properly, and then be able to disseminate it in lots of different ways.
Hi, I'm Steve Murdoch. I'm the computer scientist on the project. So this was a really nice challenge for me to work with new partners and existing partners. My problem was, how do you actually display something as big as a castle in situ, such that it actually looks like it's behind buildings it should be behind, in front of other buildings. So this particular piece of work, what we did was we took a model made by the architecture students, and we used that as a base to ground all of the things that we were doing. That enabled us to actually use a phone to orientate ourselves. So I could stand down on site with my phone, know exactly where I was, orient it with respect to a virtual model, and then use the experience of the user to line up certain what we call bespoke buildings, sort of landmark buildings. So for instance, the Market Tavern there. So I could line that Market Tavern up with my virtual model and the real world, and that then gave me a coordinate frame in which I could then display the virtual model. Dawn, we then repurposed this particular model for another event, which Dawn will tell you about.
We did, yeah. We knew we weren't ready with the development time to roll that out via an app store. So what we did instead, as part of the University of Sheffield's Festival of the Mind in September, we had an 8-day installation in the Millennium Galleries in town. We had a 2 metre square wooden scale model of the site as it now is. We repurposed the model that Nick had made using the Apple AR kit for iPad. So that visitors could see the castle and use the iPad. And we, within the context of that wooden model, we had 1,000 visitors a day through for 8 days. We had no technical glitches, which we were really pleased with. We were the only project from the Festival of the Mind that got BBC Look North coverage. So we had 800,000 viewers twice a day when that was broadcast. And we had a really broad demographic of people who we showed could really use this technology very, very easily. It raised awareness, asked a lot of questions of us about what the council was going to be doing down on site, and I know that they are now using that as a platform for talking to local businesses, talking to developers and trying to generate funding to actually make things happen now down on the site of Castlegate. Thank you.